Hello again. Right, today's recipe I think is going to be a bit of a favourite. Definitely was in this house when we made it earlier in the week. I'm making a slightly larger batch than I did then, mainly because they went really quickly. But I will give you on the recipe on the website the fact just to take it down to potentially a 1 egg mix. I'm using a 3 egg mix today. So if you want to try a small batch, then you'll be able to do that. Cinnamon rolls. This is a completely new dough that I've used, based on the bread flour mix. But it's the learning process is what liquids work best with what type of bread product. So this one is a combination, the liquids are a combination of eggs, butter and a milk of choice. Now if you're focusing on keeping as low carb as possible, then milk of choice is what I'm going to do here, which is cream and water. But use any milk that you want, whichever you prefer to use that milk. Essentially I'm going to be using, for my recipe, 50 grams of double cream and then 200 grams of water. Sorry, 150 grams of water, not 200. We're making it up to 200 grams. So there's 50 grams of double cream. Make it up to 200 grams with the water. And then we're going to add into that a 100 gram block of butter. And we want to heat that through until the butter's just melted. So we don't need to boil this, we're just heating the milk, melt the butter. There you go, clicked in. Right, whilst that's heating up, we'll do the flour mix. Just realised I didn't get one of the ingredients down. Okay, I've been working on the bread flour, working on improving essentially the overall use of the bread flour, so making it more usable. And one of the things I found recently is that inulin can actually have a positive effect on yeast, prolonged yeast growth. So it's enabled me to reduce the amount of raising agents in the flour, which can provide a fairly strong flavour, but still get the same result. So if you've looked at the previous bread flour mix, it would normally be 100 grams of Panda flour to 14 grams of yeast to 8 grams of bicarbs to 4 grams of salt. It's now able to take 150 grams of Panda flour to 14 yeast, 8 grams of bicarbs and salt, along with 5 grams of inulin. So I'm going to use that recipe here. So it's 150 grams. Now if you don't have inulin, then you may just need to add a little bit more of the raising agents to it. Inulin has no taste. It's a prebiotic fibre. It's used a lot in low carb baking, and now I know why. Right, so 14 grams of yeast. What it means is you actually get more out of the flour mix. You get more value out of the flour mix because it will absorb. The increasing the amount of Panda increases the amount of absorbency. So let's add, this is the bicarbs. I'm just going to sieve this because I made something earlier and noticed I had some lumps in it. Okay, so that's 8 grams of bicarbs, salt, 4 to 5 grams. I'm going to put 5 grams in this. Don't be afraid of having salt into a sweet bread. It still works. And then 5 grams of inulin. Now again, if you've got a random packet of inulin in the back of your cupboard, then sieve it, because it does go a little bit lumpy. So make sure you sieve it and blitz that, just sort of press that through. It just breaks down. It seems to absorb some moisture, even though it's in the cupboard with all the other dry ingredients. Nearly. I say no taste, no smell, nothing really. If you handle inulin, you'll find it feels a bit sticky. Again, it's the moisture in your skin. Nearly 9. Making sure that I don't go too far over. Right, there we go. There we go. Okay. So that's our dry ingredients. Just going to move them out of the way. That's the bread flour ingredients. Now I'm making a sweet bread. So I'm going to add some sweetener to this. Now again, we use a stevia erythritol blend. The other way around really. It's erythritol with stevia, which we make. Now it's very similar to the stuff you'll find in supermarkets. We use a fraction less stevia to take away that sort of the aftertaste. Again, this is your choice of sweetener that you use. There are many out there, so xylitol will work the same. Any of the stevia brands that are in the supermarkets. So whatever sweetener, sugar you use, into this mix I'm going to add 50 grams. Again, sweetness level very much depends on personal taste. We tend to not overly sweeten things. So you might, again, if you do a sample batch and you can factor everything down, if you don't find it sweet enough, you know next time. Okay, that's everything in. I'm just checking the recipe. That's everything in. So that's all of the dry ingredients. I've bribed the dogs with bits of dried tripe. It looks like Zeth has managed to finish his before everybody else. He's getting quite an expert at eating dried tripe now. Yeah, he's about to start barking at Argy. He's still got some. Right, to this we're going to add 3 eggs. I'm obviously just waiting on the butter to melt. 3 medium eggs. Break them up and give them a little bit of a mix. Now, one thing you could add to the dough, I didn't do it last time, I think I will do it this time. I'm going to add a little bit of vanilla essence to it, a little bit of vanilla extract. So, eggs are in. So again, we're not boiling this liquid, we're just heating it. So that's just started to bubble just a little bit. So butter literally is just melted. I'm going to pop into that. Let's go for 10 grams. Okay, there we go. Okay. So you can see, there you go, I'll show on that camera there. Butter's all melted, milk's heated through, just a little at a time, just to bring it in, because you're going to need to get your hands in there in a second, so let's just, a little bit at a time. Oh, that smells good already. Okay, nearly all in. And let's have everything in. Give that a quick mix. And then let's get hands in there and bring that together. So the dough is warm, it's not hot. There's not enough liquid gone in there. If you do boil the milk, then just let it cool for a few minutes. But the dough is warm, it's probably sort of 40 degrees warm, something like that. It's a pleasant warm. Give it a good knead. And it's a little sticky, this dough, just ever so slightly sticky dough. There we go. So see that on there? So, ever so slightly sticky, warm dough. Just let that sit for a minute. Just going to wash my hands and then we'll do the cinnamon glaze from the inside. Okay, so while the dough rests, and it's just going to rest for a couple of minutes, no more than that. Let's talk the filling. In here I've got 100 grams of melted butter. Again, I'm going to add some sweetener. Again, this is personal choice. So I'm adding 50 grams to this, so the entire mix is going to have 100 grams of sweetener. It's based on, obviously this is 8 portions, so it's about 12 grams of sweetener per portion. But that's normal. Anything between 10 to 15 grams per portion is where I would usually, when I create recipes, that's what I'm aiming at. No lower, because otherwise you don't get any sweetness, and no higher because it can be a bit off-putting if it's too sweet. So again, if you're creating your own recipes, if you're practicing, just work on that sort of ratio. Did you see the little one's tail? It's not so little anymore. Okay. So sugar in, cinnamon, again, this is down to taste. When I did them on Thursday, I did 2 teaspoons, which weighs 5 grams, and we all said, maybe a bit more. So we're going to go 3, and because I'm doing a slightly bigger batch, we're going to go 4. There you go. So I've actually put in there 12 grams of cinnamon. That's going to be up to you as to whether that's too much. So again, it's melted butter, it's cooling down, and I do want that to go a little thicker. I want to let that cool, just so it's not quite as runny. We still want to be able to spread it on the dough. Right, give that a quick mix now. This is also an opportunity if you want. Little sat here waiting for something, for a treat. If you want to add another flavour. So one of the best things you could use is we've got these special ingredients oils, and I'm going to put a couple of drops of orange in there. So we've got cinnamon and orange. It really works well. It doesn't take much. These are super strong oils. One. We didn't know. Oh, we are actually nearly out. Oh, there you go. So we'll let that cool. Okay, rolling out time. We don't need to let the dough rest any longer than that. Let me get my rolling pin and find something for this one. Yes, let's find you a treat. Okay, so time to roll the dough out. Because we're going to roll this up and then cut it into portions, to make it so we've got nice even ones, so I'm going to make 8 and they're going to fit into here, we sort of need to use a guide, and I'm going to aim at rolling it out to 32 centimeters wide and essentially as long as I can, hopefully as long as the mat. And that means then that when I've rolled it and I cut them, I can cut each cinnamon roll into a 4-inch roll, and then 4 centimeter, wow, a 4 centimeter roll, and then obviously they'll rise in the baking process. So you can sort of see the dough is it's fairly firm. It's after a couple of minutes of resting, it's no longer as sticky. Give it a nice coating of flour. There should be no issues in rolling this out to the size that I want. Obviously, if you're doing a smaller batch, then if you do a 2-egg batch, that'll be going to give you 4 or 5 of the cinnamon rolls. If you do a 1-egg batch, it's going to give you 2 or 3 size, depending on size that you're aiming at. Again, it's no different to rolling out the pastries. Lift it, turn it. You can see that it's moving quite consistently. It's not trying to tear. I'll give it a little bit more flour there. Okay. So if we look at that now, I am almost, on that way, almost 32 centimeters, almost. So this is easily going to cover the mat and get to the right size. I don't worry about it not having perfectly straight edges. I mean, we can go along. We don't want to be cutting anything off this and wasting it. There you go, just flatten those edges down. Okay, right, so let's flip that. Yeah. Right, so it's quite a large piece of dough now. So to help me move it, rolling pin at the back of it, loop it over and just lift it up. There you go. Right, okay, so let's see where we are. We're clearly over the 32, we're close to 34, so I'm just going to squeeze in these ends to get a nicer, straighter edge. It doesn't really matter because this can form the bottom of at least one of the rolls. You've got the other one there. Right, and I'm just going to roll that. It's still, I don't know, 3 or 4, I'd say 3 millimeters, maybe 4 millimeters thick. And I've managed to get that now, the full width of the mat. And that's what looks like, yeah, judging by the measurements on here, 43 centimeters. It's clearly 45 centimeters wide. So I mean, we've got a decent size roll here. Yeah, and we're 2 to 3 mils thick all the way through. Looks fairly even. Job's good. Okay, perfect. It's thickening as the butter's cooling. That's thickening. If it's liquid, you'll find it a little bit more difficult to get enough on because it'll just want to pour away. So again, getting it to a point where it's more of a paste is going to make it easier. I'm not going to mess about. Where's my spatula gone? of that in there. Okay. Yeah. And the smell of the cinnamon and the orange, it's beautiful. Don't need to worry too much because we're going to roll it from this end rolling through to that way. Don't need to worry too much about getting it all the way to the end because there's going to be filling that's going to get pushed out essentially. So concentrate on getting it out to the edges because that's someone's cinnamon roll there. So concentrate on getting it all the way out to the outsides, but don't worry too much about trying to fill in that very back bit. Okay, there we go, look at that, perfect. Let's not waste that. Excellent. So, to roll, now maybe I should have said, if you think you're going to struggle, put it on a piece of parchment. It's too late now, but I've got one of these mats, so this is ideal. So either at the rolling process, stick it on a large piece of parchment, or invest in one of these silicone mats because then you can do this and you won't worry about tearing the dough. So lift it up, roll it over. And once we get to a certain point, that's just sauce. Beautiful. Roll. Roll, nice. And there we go. Okay. Oh, I was about to go and get a tape measure then, but I can actually put it on there. I've actually managed to get that up to 38 centimetres. So, if I divide that by 8, it's close to 5 centimetres each. So let's start with this end, and it's easier to work. We'll go with about 4.5. So we'll aim at around about that. Let me get my tray. Okay, in my tray, I've got a piece of parchment, any greaseproof, just to sort of stop them from sticking on the bottom. Now there's the perfect roll, but I'm going to stick that the rough side down for this one. So the two outside ones are clearly going to be the non-straight edges, but then you get that on both sides, and that's perfect. So again, you're aiming at trying to get them about the same height. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a bit. Yep. 1, 2, 3, 4. Little one doesn't like the idea of being quiet. And we're going to put them in a, you can see that there. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's going to be a good one. Yeah. 2, 4, 6. Okay, 1, 2. Okay. So let's spread them out a little bit and get 2 in the middle. I've actually made 2, 4, 6. Yeah, 7, 8. 7, 8, yeah, 9. I've actually managed to get 9 out of that. I thought I was only going to get 8. I suppose this one is a little bit smaller, so I've not quite cut them in the same way. However, there we go. There's our cinnamon buns. These are going to go in the oven for 30 minutes. there's more in this tray than there was last time. So I'm just going to make sure, be at least 30 minutes. I'll be able to let you know once I've finished them. 30 minutes, 180. They will grow and they will sort of grow up and together, and you'll get hopefully a large combined cinnamon roll. Right, there we go. Let's get them in the oven. Okay, oven has just pinged. Look at them. Absolutely beautiful. So they've obviously grown into each other and grown upwards as well. They're still going to be very soft while they're very warm. Let them cool down, then we'll be able to take them out of the tray, then we'll be able to top them. So I'm going to make the topping now. You don't obviously need to top them, but to have some form of icing or glaze on top, I'm going to make what we would normally use. And it'll get applied either later on tonight or even tomorrow, because you definitely want these to be completely cold, stone cold, before you add any glaze to it. Otherwise it's just going to melt. So cream cheese. So this is a similar sort of topping that I would use on the carrot cakes. I've got about 100 grams of soft cream cheese here. I'm going to weigh it out. Again, this will go into the recipe website. So, but you can there's various other options. You could use a sugar paste to go on top. So just sugar and water with a bit of lemon juice or something. So there you go. I've got there 95 grams. That's more than enough. To that. Definitely need a little bit of sweetener, not too much because there's a fair amount in there. It's just to take the savoury taste away from the cream cheese. Let's go 20 grams. And then something like an orange oil again, or a bit of lemon oil, or even lemon juice to go into there. So we'll have a little, just a couple of drops. I think there was a little bit left of the lemon, sorry, of the orange oil. There it is. Yeah, there's a couple of drops in there. There you go. Just give that a mix just to loosen it up. And it should be, once you've whisked it, quite soft and spreadable. So that'll easily spread on top. So, as I say, wait until they're fully cooled. Yes, if you need to, pop them in the fridge, but it's going to be a good couple of hours before you're going to be able to top those. Now, looking at them, I can see that it looks like they've actually not quite. I'm wondering whether I can get them out now. I think I can. So let's have a look. Yeah, so they're going to come straight out. So there's the base. Look at the steam coming off those. Beautiful. There you go. So again, if you can get them out of the tin, that'll cool them down quicker. I know we're all going to be eager to get them tasted as soon as possible, but again, let them cool down, top them, good to go. Right, recipe is in the website by the time you see this. If you haven't already, then, and you didn't know about it, come and join us in our group. So let me remember the name. It is Panda Pantry Free From Baking Club. I'm getting prompts. So Panda Pantry Free From Baking Club. There will be a link in the description because I've just said it and I'll remember to do it. So link in description to come and join us in the Facebook group. That's it. Hopefully you enjoy and see you in the next video. Thank you.